Resident Evil Zero is an often overlooked entry in the Resident Evil franchise, and if I'm honest, it's for a pretty good reason. Its systems and mechanics are clunky at best, and many elements of the game seem copied from the RE1 remake, which released just 9 months earlier in March of 2002. To make things worse, this game would be completely overshadowed by the release of Resident Evil 4 in 2005, which is widely regarded as one of the greatest games of all time. I believe that Resident Evil Zero was a Trojan horse. I think the lackluster reception was planned, and most importantly, I think I've stumbled upon a long hidden secret. This is the Resident Evil Zero conspiracy. Okay, I'm not going to wear this the whole time, but just imagine that I am, and I'll put like a little History Channel logo in the corner so you feel like you're watching high quality entertainment. You might be asking yourself, who is this guy? What makes him qualified to say these things? Does he have a negative hairline? All great questions. My experience with the Resident Evil games started in 2009 with Resident Evil 5, and since then I've been a Resident Evil fiend.
Behold, my stuff.
Have I 100% at Resident Evil Zero? Why, yes, I have. Thanks for asking. And according to speedrun.com, I have the 4th fastest Wesker mode speedrun of all time. How many people have speedrun Wesker mode? Why are you asking so many questions? I'll be covering each section of the game to lay the groundwork for how I formulated my conspiracy theory. This video is not about the story of RE0, but it will inevitably include scenes from every part of the game, so if you're worried about spoilers, I wouldn't recommend watching. I'm also going to include some of my favorite cutscenes because they're way funnier than anything I could ever say. Anyways, let me turn you into a conspiracy theorist. We start the game as Rebecca, who has 6 inventory slots and a can-do attitude. We love to see it. Already the 6 inventory slots is making me nervous, but hey man, nervous tension is important to a horror game, right? So she starts going cabin to cabin, kind of slowly, and picks up a train key. She goes back through the train cars, uses the key, and meets Billy, our second playable character, but more importantly, our second item holder.
Cooperate with you?
Shortly after they meet, this cutscene plays, and I swear to you, I did not change any part of it.
Are you okay?
Now that we have both characters, we have access to as much inventory as we will get in this entire game. And look, almost half of it is already used. This might not seem like a big deal right now, but trust me, I'm building up to something. The train segment quickly devolves into one person being trapped in a room with a dumbwaiter that can send a single item back and forth to the other person. That sounds kind of interesting until you realize it takes about 25 seconds to complete this interaction for one character. And you have to swap to the other, run to the dumbwaiter, and spend another 10 seconds watching this thing just exist. So Rebecca progresses further into the train.
Slowly again? Can you just open it, please?
Alright, that was pretty weird, but hey, Rebecca found the hunting gun. This bad boy is a lot stronger than the pistol, but it takes up 2 slots in our inventory. Naturally, we also need to carry some shotgun ammo to keep it loaded. This one gun essentially takes up half of our inventory slots. At this point, I have to drop something in order to pick up the next key item and spawn the Scorpion boss. After I pull some pro gamer strats, I get to watch him slowly die over the course of the next 10 years. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Is it starting to seem obnoxious yet? Everything in this game is slow. The doorway to the boss is slow, killing the thing is slow, watching it die is slow. How is this even possible? Are we gaming or what? So we do more inventory management, go back to the dumbwaiter, watch it slowly go up. Billy and Rebecca are reunited, and it's just in time to introduce one of the biggest slaps in the face in gaming history, the hook shot. Oh yeah, baby, you thought your inventory was cramped before? It's hookshot time, motherfucker. This bad boy is entirely dead weight and exists only to ruin your life. It's not a weapon, but rather a utility item from an old episode of Batman that lets you scale buildings and climb through different floors. It only has a handful of uses throughout the game, but if this is your first playthrough, you probably don't know that. So you take it with you everywhere just in case you need it, and it's 2 more inventory slots. Woo! We solve all the puzzles, make the train stop, and head further into the game, but wait, I've got a little secret. A little golden ticket to the chocolate factory here in my pocket. What's this? An incredibly popular mod for Resident Evil 0? But whatever could it do? It skips all door animations. Can you believe that? It's like setting eyes on God itself. Beautiful. What an incredible tool this would be to illustrate just how much time you can save by skipping those door animations. I'm going to use this tool to show you how much time you... So I decided to do 2 different runs through the train, one with the door skip and one without. They both follow the same route using New Game Plus weapons and infinite ammo. This is purely about speed. I'm going to play them side by side just so you can see how crazy the difference is between a regular run and the door skip run. The clip on the left is without the door skip mod and the clip on the right has it enabled. I'm playing both of the clips at 5 times speed and you can already see the one on the right is zooming, bro. I feel like I should add those anime speed lines of that thing. Like, look at her go. I don't want to make you watch these whole runs, but I will tell you the results and they are shocking. Disturbing. Sexual? So the normal run without the door skip mod finished with a time of 17 minutes and 47 seconds. The modded run with the shortened door times finished with a time of 11 minutes and 33 seconds. What the fuck? Are you serious? Dude, it's literally 6 minutes faster. Are you kidding me, bro? 6 minutes of looking at just... But that is 6 minutes of door animations during a run that never had to backtrack or figure out a puzzle. I went where I needed to, when I needed to, and I knew where all the items were and how to use them. A first-time player could spend well over an hour on the train section with a huge chunk of the time just being door animations. I think it's also fair to say that the train section is also one of the least complicated sections in the game. Which one is the most complicated? I'm so glad that you asked. The training facility is very reminiscent of the mansion in Resident Evil 1 in that there are doors everywhere, and sometimes even zombies. Without counting the basement sections, there are 32 doors in the training facility. This is by far the largest area in the game, and it has over 12 key items, which is enough to fill both of the characters' inventories completely. So how do we manage our inventory appropriately when we have to pick up all these items? It's called the floor sweaty. Ever heard of it? That's right, we're just dropping shit left and right. This central room will act as our trash pile for all of the items that we would sure like to take, but can never justify doing so. Alright, so we have a nice little area to drop off all our things. That's not so bad, right? Bozo detected. Bozo detected. Oh god, it's the fun police, and they're calling you stupid. Turns out you can only place 10 items in any given room before the game calls you a naughty little lad and smacks your bottom. So now you have to go to another room and put down more stuff, and I just want the item box, man, please. It was in the last game you made. It's also important to mention here that if you're playing on easy, items are very plentiful in this game. The best example has to be on the balcony of the facility where you can find 6 healing herbs in one room. 6 herbs. We're about to hit the item drop limit and we haven't even put anything down yet. Alright, I think that covers the facility.
It just doesn't make sense.
The basement is really just an extension of the training facility and doesn't really have that much going on. But Rebecca does say one of the most out-of-pocket things I've ever heard in my entire life.
I need to know the truth. Did you kill 23 people? I'm not going to judge you.
I'm judging you, Billy. Oh boy, the laboratory. On the surface, this seems like a small portion of the game, and technically speaking, it is. This section only has 11 rooms, but what's that in the corner? Oh, it's another dumbwaiter.
Hi, how are you?
That's right, we're splitting up again, boys. Grab your hook shots, yes sir. Yeah, this section is fairly similar to the train in that there's not much going on, but it's kind of a nightmare to figure out on your first playthrough. The worst part is that for one of the puzzles, you need to collect and combine the red chemical and the green chemical to make a stripping agent. They can both be found on the top floor of the lab, which you need to use the hook shot to get to. Simple enough, but Rebecca is the only one capable of collecting the chemicals due to her chemical mixing set. So if you send Billy up there with the hook shot because you like the cut of his denim, you're going to have to send Rebecca backtracking throughout the entire training facility looking for a green chemical that you almost certainly didn't pick up in the infirmary. Oh yeah, and a bunch of tough enemies respawn just to really rub in your face how much this game hates you. Your reward for all of this is spending more time watching the dumbwaiter slowly open and close for the next 10 minutes. This part made me hate laboratories so much that I became a flat earther just out of spite.
What is that?
I've got to give credit to Capcom on this one. The last two areas of this game are both pretty straightforward and require very little backtracking. The factory is basically finding one key and then fighting a boss. Shh, Rebecca, he's sleeping. The treatment plant is bigger than the factory and the lab, but you only pass through most of the areas one time, so it doesn't feel as large as it really is. I have two main problems with this section. First, pushing these boxes around is just miserable. It's another part of the game that feels tacked on and drags out for no reason. I would have preferred 3 more dumbwaiter puzzles where I somehow have to fit Rebecca inside of the dumbwaiter just to scare the shit out of Billy when he opens it. My second problem is just the last boss, straight up. You're forced to play as Billy while Rebecca runs around the room opening windows. I find it a little frustrating that the game is all about collecting and saving resources just for the last boss to have infinite health and essentially be a stalling for time type boss, which is always terrible. Okay, so that's my critique of Resident Evil 0, but where's the conspiracy at?
Put the tinfoil back on your head, you freak, and tell us why we even clicked on this video.
Alright, take it easy. I was going to do that. I think that everything about this game was designed to make you hate the old Resident Evil format. The long animations, the tedious inventory management, the backtracking, the hook shot. I think they wanted people to feel like the old style of Resident Evil had run its course and that the franchise needed something new, something fresh. What I neglected to mention at the start of the video is that Resident Evil 4 began development in 1999, 3 years before even the release of the Resident Evil 1 remake. Though many versions of the game were discarded during development, they knew they wanted it to take Resident Evil to the next level. How do you convince Resident Evil fans that it's time to shake things up when the first 3 games in the series are all regarded as classics? You give them what they want, but with a twist. You make a game that's similar to the originals, but more tedious and punishing. You take out familiar systems like the item box and add frustrating enemies and map design. Maybe you even use 2 characters that you have few plans for in the future so that if fans have any negative feelings, they'll be attached to them instead of the other ones. Billy has never appeared again in the franchise after RE0, and Rebecca has mostly appeared in non-canon multiplayer modes, comics, and mobile games. If this was all planned, and Capcom did want to influence gamers to rebel against the status quo of the Resident Evil franchise in favor of a more action-focused game like RE4, Resident Evil 0 was the perfect installment. If there is a genuine mastermind behind this gambit, I tip my tinfoil hat to you. And I'm sorry for blowing up your spot like this. Resident Evil 0 has become a game that I love, in spite of its many flaws. I now choose to see it as a martyr. A game that was strung upon the cross to die for the sins of all gamers. 3 years later, the series resurrected in one of the most highly praised games of all time, and for that, I can't thank Resident Evil 0 enough. And by the way, you owe it to yourself to play Wesker mode just to watch this man Naruto run around the training facility.